Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today, where I am when I'm recording this, it's almost the solstice. So, I live in the northern hemisphere, so this is basically the solstice. It's the winter solstice for us. And so what I'm going to be doing today is readings with the Phantom Wise Tarot, which was another birthday present, and I'm so happy about it. And also with the younger Futhark, almost said Futhark. And just like last week with the Anglo-Saxon Futhark, I'm going to be taking a moment before I get to the readings to give you a rundown of the younger Futhark. So I know that this was something people were asking about, and we're going to do it. So, so today's readings are going to be about what is coming out of the darkness for you. So, you know, the winter solstice is basically the return of the sun. It's like the darkest point is the longest night, but it's the coming back of the sun. So after the winter solstice, the days start to get longer again, and so it's the return of the light. So what is coming out of the darkness for you? We have 4 cards from the Phantom Wise Tarot that will set the scene. So will you choose card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, or card number 4? I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you there. Bye! Hello, welcome to Meet the Younger Futhark. So, as you can see, the younger Futhark is much smaller than the Anglo-Saxon Futhark. At only 16 runes, it's even smaller than the elder Futhark, which is 24 plus a blank, if you're using the blank. So, what are these little creatures? So let's just going to run you through. Once again, just like the Anglo-Saxon Futhark, they have very different meanings from the elder Futhark runes. They also tend to be a little bit more on the brutal side. Like they're just gonna tell it. So I'm gonna run you through it. So let's do this. There was one other thing I was gonna say about them. Oh well, anyway, I'm sure I'll get to it. So as usual, the first line, it's still a Futhark because the first line still says Futhark. So but in this case we have Fae, which is once again it's wealth, but it's wealth that is contested. So it's basically, it's something that is a little bit dangerous to have because it's contested. People are going to fight over it, and it also shows you, according to that was what I was going to say. According to the rune poems, it basically shows you which of your friends are actually wolves, says the rune poems. So the meanings I am using for the younger Futhark, I am taking from the Old Norse rune poems and the Old Icelandic rune poems, whereas the meanings for the Anglo-Saxon Futhark I take from the Old English rune poems. So different meanings for all 3 Futharks. For the 2 Futharks and the 1 Futhark, not completely different meanings, but almost like base meaning most of the time, but you'll see how it's not, which is wild. So Fae. Fae is the younger Futhark version of Fehu. It does have to do with wealth, but in this case it's wealth that is contested, and it's something people can get jealous of, and it'll show you who's your friends. Ur is a big difference because in the elder Futhark, this is Uruz and it's the wild ox and it has to do with strength and health, but in the younger Futhark it's drizzle and or slag. So what it tends to be speaking about is something that wears you down, but also something that wears you down but hones you, like washing away the waste stuff, so in terms of like forging. Then we have Thurs. Thurs is the giant or the thorn, and it's basically something that is, you want to avoid this. You want to have like a a ward. You want to have a ward against this thing. This is something you want to avoid. This is something you don't want. It's something not pleasant, something painful and uncomfortable and difficult. So basically, yeah, it's a problem. Not the thorn, the giant, the gateway that is in the elder Futhark. So then we have Os. Os is the rune of it's like the mouth. It's the god and the sanctuary for the god. So it's basically like a sword's sheath or an estuary. So it's sanctuary. It sort of combines Ansus with Othala from the Elder Futhark kind of thing as far as meanings go. For ride is the riding rune again, but this time it's basically, it stresses that when there is riding happening, it's easy for the person riding, but it's toil for the horse. So the question always with this is, are you the one being carried or are you carrying? For the younger Futhark especially, I find the reversals usually really have to do with inner versions. I'm going to talk about that especially with Kaon. Kaon, which is in the place that the elder Futhark Kaonaz is normally occupying, which in that case is a torch or fire. In the younger Futhark, it's an ulcer or sore. So it's something, it's the same sort of idea where it's something small that gets bigger as it festers. However, I told you they were brutal. In this case, it's on the very, very negative side. It's something that's just icky and painful, and it's a sore point, basically. It's a sore point. And when it's reversed, this becomes like an inner sore point. So like something that's like somebody could say something that'll press on that sore point for you. So, but that's if it's reversed. Down to the next line, we have Hagal, and Hagal is the rune of hail. It's weather, it's, these destructive little, it's like death by inches, it's these destructive little icy grains, killer of snakes. But basically one of the other things about this is that it was put in place at the beginning of time by like Odin. So when you see this kind of thing, it's not something you can argue with. I mean, you wouldn't argue with weather anyway, but it's just sort of even more so because it was put in place by the gods. And there's nothing you can do about it, so it's just basically to remember that. We have need. Need is the rune of need. Oh, sorry, it's not need, it's Naldr. It's need in the Anglo-Saxon Futhark. Naldr is the rune of need. It's just basically something that constrains you and something that basically limits you because you have to make sure you're tending these things. Isa is very interesting in the younger Futhark. It's ice. But just like it's extremely different meaning in the Old English rune poems, it's a very different meaning in the younger Futhark, in the Icelandic and the Old Norse rune poems, because it really speaks of a bridge. Because, of course, when something would freeze over, then you've got a bridge over the water. And it also refers to like helping somebody in need, so you are becoming a bridge for them as well. So it's a bridge which the ice creates, but it's also becoming a bridge for somebody else. Then we have Ar, which is basically the harvest rune. It's similar to Yira. It's abundance. It's Frey's gift. Frey is in the younger Futhark a lot. I will have to do more research to see if he was more looked to in the era that used the younger Futhark, but this is basically, he's in it twice. So here he is for the fertility thing, for the Vanir, for the harvest, for the gift of Frey, and just abundance and abundant time. So yeah, the harvest. Then we have Sol, which is the sun. Really just very joyous illuminator of darkness. Good stuff. Then we have Tyr, which is Tyr's rune. This has to do with it's similar to Tivaz in the Elder Futhark in terms of it's basically taking care of things, but just like hard work. It's hard work, and sometimes you actually have to work extra to make up for losses, like he didn't have his hand, one hand, for a good reason. And also, what was the other thing about him? Sacrifice. I should have been reminded by the hand. Might come into it. Then we have Bjarkan. Bjarkan is the rune of the birch tree. This has to do with new beginnings, green, new youth, and new things and beginnings. It also has to do with lies, in terms of like the organic lie that buys you luck. So I don't see that meaning as much, but sometimes it does come up, just these stories that we tell ourselves or that we tell others that will get us out of something or buy us some time or some luck. We have, mostly it's beginnings though, we have Madhura, which is the rune of humanity, and in the younger Futhark this has to do with potential of humanity, because you can basically become a joy and a grace to any ship, or just basically bring goodness into the world, or you can just basically do nothing and end up as dust. So it's basically about the potential, human potential, and and all that. So potential, basically. Then we have Logr. Logr is the water, same as with the other ones, but it's, again, very different meanings in each. In this case, it's the water that flows down, and it's rich. It has to do with like a lot of riches and richness, and it's deep and it's full of riches. But it also comes with a warning to beware of riches that come down for you from on high, because that may be worth more than it's worth. Like, it may cost you more than it is. Anyway, final rune here, and this is the one I tell people is not safe for work, and this is why I don't use this Futhark when I'm reading work, because it's this is the big Frey rune. It's ear. It's the bow, and you can see like a bow and arrow kind of in it. You can also see something else in it that has to do with Frey as a fertility god, and it does scan with what this rune is about, which is about continuity, perpetuity, carrying forward. Basically, the bow is far shooting. Anyway, if you've ever seen a statue of the god Frey, this will remind you of part of it. So you may notice that Madr and Ir are basically the same rune but reversed, which, yes, causes problems when I'm reading them unless I have something to mark Ir as Ir. On this one, I have 2 dots on either side of the base. This is to remind me that this is Ir and not Madr. And I've had it where this one's landed reversed and this one's landed reversed, and I had to really check. My really beautiful set that I have in these ones I made. I have a really beautiful set in bone from Grimfrost, and they're brilliant. Check them out. And luckily, the one I use for ear has a little chip out the back, so that works for that. I would have had to have made some change if that hadn't been the case, but thankfully it was already looking different slightly from the Maldoror runes, so easy to tell apart that way. So there you go. That's it. That's all. That's the whole younger Futhark. They're tiny. It's like these are the ones. This is the long stem younger Futhark, or long branch. Is it long branch or long stem? Anyway, they're the ones that actually look like this and are usable for divination. But this is actually the, I think, short stem. I have to do more research about that again. I've just basically been talking about the meanings. But there's a version of this that is the 2 dots. So it's a little trickier, and because they had to make 16 runes, like use all the word sounds, because they used this in writing. These are the Viking runes. These are the runes that the Vikings used. So, and it was used as divination and magic and as writing. So it was like lots of duty for 16 little runes. So anyway, there you go. On to the readings. I will see you there. Bye. Hello, card number 1 people. So card number 1 people, we are going to start with this card that you have chosen from the Phantom Wise Tarot. And let's see what this is. 10 of Wands. So as you're coming out of darkness, you have a lot to carry. You have a lot of, I'm going to say burdens, but also this is a lot to communicate, because often, we see this as communication, but a lot of things, like you're carrying a lot. This is a heavy burden for you, card number 1 people. So you're coming out of there. So let's see what we can do about that with a reading from the younger Futhark. Ever since last week when I was saying like Futhark the whole time, and I keep wanting to say Futhark now, but it's not. This is a Futhark. This is a true Futhark. And yes, well, of course we have needs. So this is definitely, you're going to want to find somewhere to lay this down, or to at least express it in a way that is going to be healthy. So let's do the whole reading to start with. Nice. I would say very nice. Which one is that? Yay, it landed right side up. And that one landed right side up. How nice of you today, younger Futhark, to do that for me. Okay. So your central issue here is actually need. So this works actually really well. Oh no, wait a minute. This is not need. This is R. Hooray! This is the harvest. So you are looking for, it's almost, with that as your central issue, I'm seeing this more as bringing your harvest to market. which is very much more exciting. Well, no, it was exciting before, but now it's like, it's not just a burden, but it's like burden of what you're expressing, and you're basically, it's your abundance at this point. So you're carrying this to bring into the world and to share, I would think. Cat's a bit worried, but that's the thing. So that's exciting. So our harvest rune has to do with abundance and just the harvest, the things coming into fruition, and the gift of Frey. So it's your nourishment, your harvest, and you're carrying this. So you have this to share, it looks like. Leading up to this, we have Kaun reversed. Now, Kaun is the rune of the sore or the ulcer. It's kind of brutal, but it has to do with something that's basically a sore that just sort of festers, and it's a sore spot basically, and it's reversed. So this basically says this is an internal sore spot. Maybe as you were moving through the darker times, this has been something that has been sort of gnawing at you and sort of festering on you, but now you're able to bring this forth. You have this that you're carrying forward, and you're bringing it forward, hopefully to distribute or to drop off with somebody. What is going to help you is we have Isa. Isa's the rune of ice. In the Younger Futhark, this has to do with creating a bridge. So either somebody is going to help you, or you're going to create that bridge yourself, where you're going to basically create where there wasn't a path, you're going to create a path. So that's what's going to happen, and that's what's going to help. I do see this very much as maybe somebody will help you, because part of Isa is basically a human building of a bridge, where it's you're building something solid for somebody. So this may come into being for you, but otherwise you can probably build this bridge as well. But you're going to need to create a bridge. That's what's going to help you. What isn't going to help is we have Logr, and Logr is the rune of the water. It's the water that flows down full of riches. I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, it's like you accumulated this and you're bringing it now to market, kind of thing, your harvest. And you're sort of feeling like, is this all? Like, is there not going to be any more that's going to be flowing through? You're worried about that. You're also worried about stopping the flow in order to do this. You want to keep bringing things through. So this is sort of going to be bothering you in that you're not going to be bringing more through, but you have to get rid of this, otherwise your house will be full of sticks. So so yeah, just basically build that bridge, go to town, go to market, get rid of the things. And then we have your next step, which is Bjarkan, or Bjark, which is the birch tree rune, and it is reversed, and it looks like you're going to be reaching deep inside and you're going to be starting very, very new from deep within. So it's like you've planted a new seed, and the seed is going to be starting and starting to shoot and things. And this is something that what's going to help you is you may be a little bit frustrated okay, we'll get to that. I'll read it now. What the heck? I'm starting. You may be a little bit frustrated that you don't have this flow happening like before, where you accumulated this. You do have to start kind of again to get back into that zone. And you're going to worry about, says Mother down here, this is the rune of humanity and potential. You're going to be worried about, but I'm not fulfilling my potential now. I have to rebuild this zone happening, get the flow going again. But if that starts to be the case, don't worry about it, because this is you basically drawing your bow and shooting it into the future. This is ear, it's the bow, it's like perpetuity, continuity, carrying forward. So what you're doing after you've gone to market and distributed and shared these things you're carrying, you are going to be going back and then just restarting this garden, kind of. You're regrowing things from like scratch, from deep within. And just remind yourself that this is basically you're planting the seeds. You're planting the seeds, shooting forward. You're not seeing my release because it's behind the camera, so now you're drawing the bow and then shooting it forward, and it's going forward into, carrying forward into the future so that you will be able to find it there, and then that will be your next harvest. So what this all will lead you to is we have Ride reversed. So Ride is the rune of, this is funny because Ride in the Younger Futhark is about riding a horse, but it always stresses like this is nice for the rider, but toil for the horse. Reversed, it's like you are going to be sort of riding your own creation kind of thing. So it's going to be both easy and toil as you move forward to make more of this stuff. So it's you're riding inwardly, you're internally riding forward, and it's you going to be doing the toil, but it's also you going to be carried. So it's going to carry you. The toil that you do will carry you forward. There we go. So there we go. Card number 1, people. There is your reading for Coming Out of the Darkness. Very exciting. I wish you a lovely solstice, whichever hemisphere you're in. And I wish you all the best. And I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 2, people. So card number 2, people, we're going to move this over here. We're going to turn it over, and we have the King of Wands. We have wands. We had wands last time, so we have wands. This is, you're able to direct your will. You are good with communication, and you have a little kitty cat. Maybe you don't have a little kitty cat, but you have sort of like the essence of a kitty cat near you. This is just such a nice tarot. Anyway, so here you are as you come out of darkness, very much in control of, very much on top of being able to direct your will. And let's see what the younger Futhark runes have to say about it. Very nice, very interesting. Except for this. Well, it's interesting, but it's like, okay, let's see how we can get you past this. Because nobody wants to be here in the younger Futhark. Well, does definitely want to be there. Which one is that? Okay, good. Doing me the honor of being right side up. Because that's one of the ones that has another rune that's looks exactly like it, except the other direction. Which I've had to mark. Okay. So your central issue here as we come out of the darkness, moving from the solstice onward, is we have Thurs. Thurs is the rune of the thorn or the giant. It's something that is not pleasant, it's painful, it's something that you're going to want to have a ward against. So it's definitely not something that you want to be dealing with. So you are dealing with something that's a bit painful. You're sort of trying to see your way clear of this. It's something that you're dealing with. It's like front and center, the elephant in the room, so to speak. The thing that is causing you a bit of, whether it's actually the thing itself or the worry about the thing, but it's a thing that's basically there, and it's something you definitely want to avoid. Just moving this over here because it made a buzz noise. So it's definitely something you want to avoid. So that's your central issue. Leading up to this, you've been doing pretty well. There's been some good solid flow going on. And this is Logr, and Logr in the, or Logr, it's got an umlaut. So Logr in the younger Futhark has to do with water that's flowing, and the water is deep and rich and full of riches and treasures. I assume, that would be like fish or treasure. So lots of good stuff and lots of good nourishment in the water that's been flowing. However, you've hit this point where something has come up that is a bit painful to deal with and is something you really don't want to have to deal with. You want to ward this off. So what's going to help you? So we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. In the younger Futhark, this rune has to do with a bridge or something solid. So have something solid that's going to help bridge you over this situation, like build a bridge over it. It could also mean that somebody is going to form a bridge for you, like to provide that for you, to provide that solidity for you so you can get over this painful moment that your central issue currently is as you come out of the darkness, as the sun starts to return. What isn't going to help you is you're going to be a bit worried about your harvest. We have R, which is the harvest rune. You're going to be a bit worried about what you have to show for things. This is something that I guess everybody has that pressure happening where you're worried about your potential. And we are going to get to the potential because it looks good. But just sort of like feeling like, man, you feel like you're facing this thing that is painful and you don't have the abundance that you want to get yourself over it. So this is why, A, work on building the bridge yourself, but also B, somebody may help you with this and create that solidity that's going to help you get over this painful period of time at which we started this reading. what the next step is going to be is a new beginning. We have Bjarkan, which is the rune of the birch tree, and this has to do with beginnings, new sprouts, new beginnings, new birth, even a little bit of fake it till you make it thrown in. So it's just because it does have to do with like organically arising lies that sort of buy you luck. So try not to be too dishonest, but basically this whole, I mean, fake it till you make it really works when it comes to things like attitude. Like if you're just like not in it, sometimes you have to start doing it before you will get into it, kind of thing. So there is a new beginning coming for you right after you pass this painful period of time. What's going to help you is you will finally feel what you were worried about here, you will finally feel like you are doing. This is Maldor, it's the rune of humanity and its potential. So basically you could do great things and you could sail great ships and you could bring great into the world, or you can just do nothing and end up as dust. That's the lovely, brutal sentiment of Maldor in the Icelandic and the Old Icelandic and Old Norse rune poems, and it's basically human potential. You finally feel like you are embracing this. You are basically, you have a good grasp of your potential at this point as you have your new beginning and you're moving forward, directing your will in an expert way as the King of Wands. So what isn't going to help you is you are worried about things wearing you down. We have Ur reversed. Ur is not the Aurochs in the younger Futhark, it is the drizzle. So just like that, just yucky rain that just wears you down. It's also slag, so it's whatever gets washed away when people are like metalworking. However, I'm reading this more as the drizzle aspect where internally you feel like you're being worn down. Like if you're faking it till you make it, from your attitude, you may feel like this is costing you internally a bit. Also, you may also feel like you got through this and you're on the other side of this painful thing. You may feel like maybe that was a bit easy and maybe you didn't get worn down to the point where you thought you should have been to deserve this human potential thing that you're doing now in this new beginning. Mostly I'm seeing this as your like inner drizzle happening where you're like feeling worn down internally, or you're worried about that happening. But don't worry about that happening because you are embracing your human potential. If you're worried about, the whole, your important focus has to be starting right now. Like you're starting up and you're having a new start after this painful period of time and you're just birthing. That's the Elder Futhark is the beginnings and birth. I'm sort of seeing this as the new shoots and new sprouts. You're having this new beginning. Sometimes you do have to take these leaps. It's not going to cost you that much internally to do that, just like the whole fake it till you make it thing from attitude perspective. Remind yourself that you're embracing your potential. You're like, I'm going to do what I can do. And what this is going to lead you to is just, you're going to be moving forward. This is ride. It's the riding rune. There is always the emphasis that to remember that while riding is easy for the human, it's toil for the horse. So be considerate of the horse. If you are the horse, get your rider to be considerate of you. But you will be moving forward, riding as you move forward out of the darkness. Based on this. So that card number 2, people, is your reading for Coming Out of the Darkness. I wish you a lovely solstice and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 3, people. So card number 3, people, we're going to start with turning this card, and we have the 6 of Wands. Which in this is a kitty with other kitties who want their mouse. I'm sorry. This is a new deck, and I love it. So basically, the 6 of Wands is in the regular tarot, the one where they're having the parade, where they're coming in and with great ceremony and pomp and happiness and celebration. And this is basically the kitty parade, because the kitty got a mouse, and everybody's like, yeah, you go kitty. I love this tarot. I love this deck. Okay. Yes, I just got this one a couple weeks ago, and I haven't spent as much time with it as was able to really appreciate that one. And so it's not the first time I've seen this card, but I haven't seen this card since like the first time I saw this card, and this delights me. So, as you come out of the darkness, you are coming out with great ceremony and great pomp and joyousness, and people are celebrating you coming out of darkness, basically. Card number 3, people. Awesome. So let's see what the younger Futhark has to add to that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Is that? Yeah, that is. Okay, good. That's funny. The runes are going to be telling you to beware a bit about the people who are celebrating for you, because some of them may be a bit jealous of you. So that's interesting. But just to be aware of that, and that's going to help you. Okay, so your central issue here with this reading is we have Thurs reversed. Thurs is the rune of the thorn or the giant, and it has to do with something that is really unpleasant, and you just basically are going to want to ward against it. It's something you do not want to have to deal with. It's painful. It's, you know, something that was just, ugh. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's doing this walk with the out in public with people celebrating you because you know. It could be that, but it's just basically something that you've been dealing with or that you are dealing with that is a thorn, and you want to ward against it. You want to have a ward that's gonna be against, to protect you from that. Leading up to this, we have Maudr, and Maudr is the rune of humanity and its potential. So your potential as a human, you know, the humans can do great things or they can do nothing and end up as dust. You have actually taken that. You've taken your potential and you've actually used it. And here you are with what you have to show for it. Coming out of the darkness, you have a mouse. Other kitties maybe don't have a mouse and are going to celebrate you, but what's going to help you is, as you're in this relatively painful time, and it's an internal thing. This is Thurs reversed. So it's always going to be something you just don't like, and it's something you have to ward against. It is going to be a bit of a thorn internally because it's reversed. So it's something that's just like, just poking at you inside. One of the things to remember is we have Fey reversed, and Fey is the rune of wealth in the younger Futhark, but it's wealth that is contested, it's wealth that people are jealous of, and it's the kind of wealth that shows you who your friends are. So just to keep that in mind, it is probably something that you've developed for yourself, and you're coming out, you know, out of the darkness with this mouse, but the mouse could be like a metaphorical mouse that is your success in dealing with perhaps shadow or something that you have overcome psychologically, that you're able to hold your head a little higher, and you have something that these kitties want and they haven't gotten it for themselves. So keeping in mind that this is something that you now have, and it makes you rich, it makes you wealthy internally, but it's something that may cause jealousy in the other kitty cats. So just keep that in mind. Just that'll help you deal with the pain that you're feeling, that's sort of niggling you inside. What isn't going to help is, you know, this is a time of abundance for you. And you may feel like you just want to shout it from the rooftops, which this kitty cat is doing, just going along going, I'm rich now. And it's, oh sorry, this is it's the rune of the harvest. So harvest, abundance, good nourishment, all that good stuff, but it's in the lower line, and it's something that you're worried about. So you're worried about people knowing about it. You're worried about it being something that, you know, you're doing really well. At the same time, it's warning against broadcasting that you're doing really well. So mostly just basically, maybe you have to do a bit of this and people are celebrating you, but it's also like, be careful, you know, don't be careful who you tell. So anyway, just to be aware that that's going to happen. Like all these people that are celebrating you, some of them might not be really happy for you. Some of them might be being eaten up by jealousy. Yuck. So anyway, moving forward, your next step is you're doing pretty well. As you come out of the darkness, you're really coming out of the darkness, and the sun is there for you. This is Sol, the sun. It has to do with, it's basically the illumination and it's good. It's joy. You're feeling good. What is going to help you there? Another weird one for this, we have Kaun. Kaun is the rune of the ulcer and the sore, and it's something that starts small and festers, you know, I'm actually going to throw down a clarifier on this one, because that's just weird. That's a weird rune to have. Okay, so basically, yeah, what's going to help you is you are going to notice, is to pay attention when something is festering, basically. And this is not even internally, this is basically in your life. If something is festering, to notice and pay attention to it. Give it the attention it needs. Like, don't just try to ignore it. Tend the need that is there. It may make you feel a little bit constrained for a while. We have need here, Naldr. We have Naldr here, which is the need rune. It may make you feel a little bit constrained at times, but it is worth it. So as you move into the sun, basically make sure that, yes, the sun is shining, but you need to be taking care of the needs that you have and not ignoring them. What isn't going to help is we have Hagal, and Hagal is the rune of the hailstorm. It's a million tiny little grains, killer of snakes, and it's basically weather, something that's put in place at the dawn of time by the gods, and it's something that you have to deal with. And maybe you're either just worried about that kind of thing, like the death by 1,000 tiny grains, or it's just basically you may have to deal with something that is like weather and that's just there, and it's causing you lots of hurts. Some of those you can deal with, and that's these. So if there's anything that is causing you hurts and that you're ignoring, and you're sort of like just avoiding, don't avoid them. Tend that need, and you will be able to walk in the sun all the happier. And what this is going to lead you to is, as you are walking more and more out of the darkness, is just basically taking care of things. We have Tears rune. Tears all about taking care of what needs to be taken care of. Sometimes you need to work extra hard because you may be missing things that you would normally use for it. And also there's a certain amount of sacrifice happening. This is a bit of a rough reading for you guys, card number, or lovely people, card number 3 people. But that's the younger Futhark for you. But it's basically saying that, you know, you are strong enough to do this, and even if there may need to be sacrifices made, as like when you actually take some time to take care of these things that are causing you pain, that's worth it. You're doing your duties, and you're taking care of things that need to be taken care of. And that, card number 3 people with the kitty cat parade, is your reading. I wish you a lovely solstice, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 4 people. So we're going to start by turning this card from the beautiful Phantom Wise Tarot, and we have the Page of Cups. Okay, so here you are, you're starting out something that has to do with creativity and expression and emotion and intuition and, you know, lovely things, all the lovely emotional watery things, and you're just starting out with that, with your bunny ears on. So you're ready to give it your best. So let's see, as you come out of darkness, what the younger Futhark has to add. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, you are coming out of the darkness. You have survived the journey. And now is a good time to come out of the darkness and express what you need to express. Interesting. Interesting. That's a neat thing. Yeah, well, you've got to be careful of that, so. Oh, lovely. Yes, I'm going to tell you why I'm saying all these things in a second. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful card number 4 people. So your central issue here is Sol. Sol is the rune of the sun. This has to do with bringer of light, illuminator of darkness. It's just like really good. Like finally there is light, and your journey has carried you right out into it. As you're coming out of darkness, we have Ride, which is the riding rune. The old poems basically always stress, you know, the riding is comfortable for the rider and toil for the horse. So if you are the rider, be conscious of the horse, and if you are the horse, maybe just let the rider know. But either way, you've been riding forward on this, and here you are now finally coming into the sun. The sun is good. The sun is illuminating your darkness. What is going to help you is, I feel I can't read what's helping you without reading what's not helping you. So, what isn't helping you, first, what isn't helping you is we have Fae. Fae is the rune of it's wealth, but it's wealth that's contested. It's some form of richness that people are that people potentially might feel jealous of. This is what's going to show you who your friends are, kind of thing. You're worried about that what you're bringing forward might cause jealousy in the world, or might cause people to, act wolfishly. And not to say anything against actual wolves, but in the traditional sort of metaphorical thing about if this shows you who the wolves are, it's in the poem. That's why I'm using that metaphor. I'm a big fan of wolves in general. So basically, it's reversed on the lower line. So it's almost like you're worried about starting out and expressing things, because you're worried that if you show the riches that you have inside, that people will become jealous of that, or try to use you, or just be generally horrible. What is going to help you with that is we have Hagal. Hagal is the rune of the hail and the hailstorm, and this has to do with the million tiny grains that are frozen and that are icy and that can hurt you, like little tiny thing, killer of snakes, kind of thing. It's sort of, but it's like it's weather, and it's something that, while it can be destructive, has always been that way. So just to remember that, yes, if I do this, there will be a few people who are going to be a bit awful about it. It'll help me see who my friends are, and just like this has always been the way things are. It's not something that is like brand new just for me. It's not personal as far as that goes. It's just something that is part of nature, and it's weather, and it will pass. There's that. So moving forward, you will be dealing with an internal sore spot. This is sort of like, not like internal physical, but like internal, like a sore point, like something that, you don't want people to talk about around you because it's a sore point for you, kind of thing. There is something like that you'll be dealing with as you move forward. What's going to help you is internally, as you're dealing with this is kind of like, so this is Ur, and Ur is the rune of drizzle and slag. And so it's something that wears down, or is like the waste metal that gets washed away. So this is also going on internally. While you're dealing with this sore spot internally, you're also dealing with, it's starting to hone you. It's wearing down the part of you that you really do need to let wash away. And that's going to help you, because you're going to be a lot more strong and tough after that happens, and it will be a lot easier for you with things, and this won't be an issue anymore. The sore point that you have will stop being an issue for you, because everything that was causing it to be a lot of problems for you and causing you to worry about that is right now being sort of drizzled on and worn away. And so that's going to help you ultimately. It's going to just wash that away, and that's going to be a kind of like an internal healing kind of thing that's happening. What isn't going to help is you may become so defensive of this that it will become like a thorn, that like an internal thorn. Actually, it's not even internal. It may become a thorn in your life, because we have Thurs, and Thurs is the rune of the thorn or the giant. It's something that it's something you don't want to have to deal with, and that you just want to ward against. And if you let that happen, you're not going to have that process where you're going to get honed, where you're going to get the waste stuff washed away that you don't need, and where the true metal is going to get revealed. So just let this process happen. You just like acknowledge it, sit with it, give it what it needs, and let it be healed and washed away, kind of thing. And what this is going to lead you to is, we have Logr, and Logr is the rune of it's the water, it's the sea, it's the flow. And it's in the old poems, it talks about how it's just filled with riches. And I'm sure they meant fish as much as they meant like precious metals and other treasures. So it's basically, this will help free up the flow for you. And as you come out of darkness with this intent to create, by the end of this process, especially after you go through this part of it, you will have, the flow will increase. The riches flowing through will increase. And this will be flowing from you. So the warning about worrying about flow of coming down from on high, the riches coming down from on high, doesn't really apply, because it's you. So I'm seeing this very much that on your path line of, you're setting out, you've come back into the light, you have to deal with this inner pain for a little bit, but only until you've sort of washed away what no longer is serving you and what isn't serving you, and revealed the true metal inside. And then you will have this lovely flow happening where it will be just deep and rich and full of riches and goodness, and that will carry you forward. So that, card number 4, people, is your reading of coming into the light out of the darkness. So I wish you a lovely solstice, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.